Alright guys, such comic again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. So much reaction to the major news last night. The Pred is back on OpTic Texas. Huke is dropped from the starting roster. Pred gives his perspective on the whole situation, how this even came to be, and how excited he is to get back to Texas with the team to try and recoup what they lost in December compared to what they had last year when they won the World Championship. We're next for Huke as well. Some other Rostermania drama on the day, but Scump gives his reaction to the whole situation as well. Very much into your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. We're going to start here because with Huke now on the market and available, this has definitely changed the landscape of Rostermania. Teams that may have looked to make a change or at least had something very nearly locked in, they may say now, well, okay, hang on a second, Huke is available. Obviously, have got rid of him because Huke seemingly didn't fit their structure over there on OpTic, and we'll discuss that more over the coming minutes if that's really what was going on here behind the scenes. But other teams, many other teams, could or maybe should be considering it. Huke, though, is a bit of a controversial player for certain teams. As good as he is, as talented as he is a player who thrives in a more unstructured environment, and there are some teams where that potentially applies and some teams where it may not. Huke, though, back with 04, for example, on Surge, is something that could make a fair bit of sense. Would Rambo want that to happen? Maybe not, but equally, it's a perfect opportunity to arguably correct the mistake from the off-season when they dropped him in the first place, and now they've got a chance to potentially get him back in. Other teams could be in a position as well to do so. I know some have even talked about Toronto Ultra as a possibility as to whether minus JoeDeceives plus Huke makes sense. I don't think they will do that. I am actually not sure that's the best idea for them if they were to do that. But even then, they're in the conversation potentially as well. Unfortunately for Afro, it seems that the move Afro to Surge instead of Hicksy, maybe Neptune to Surge instead of Hicksy as well, was a possibility. But and maybe it was going to happen, right? And Afro was going to get another chance in the CDL, which I think he'd very much deserve. And I'd love to see how he would get on this time if it does arrive for him again. But Afro says back to the grinds, potentially implying that with Huke now on the market, Surge have changed their minds, and Surge confirmed yesterday that Hicksy is officially gone from the team. So yeah, feel bad for Hicksy really, but I guess he just wasn't really the right fit at the right time. Maybe he's going to get another chance. I think what's annoying for him is that he probably deserved a chance last year when the game would arguably have suited him a little bit better, right? Because he did a great job at the end of Modern Warfare 2, making the Champs Final, winning an event before that with Toronto. And then he didn't get a spot the next year in a game where I think he would have been better than this game, where slaying is more important a factor here in Black Ops 6. So unfortunately Hicksi's out of the team, and he did respond and say, grateful to Surge for the opportunity. I didn't play well enough, so you know, anyone hating can, yeah, you guys can figure that out. So you know, hopefully Hicksy can return at some point. So he's officially gone from the team. Only a one-man move for now, probably what I expected, but it's going to be minus Hicksy plus Afro / Neptune. Probably not Afro, as we've seen. Maybe Neptune. Possibly Huke, that's the option, right? And 04 talked about it even yesterday, that he would probably like to see this happen. One other pretty juicy development, of course, was around PaulX recently. People were expecting, oh, maybe Paul's going to be gone from the starting team on Rocker. That's certainly been a discussion. When I saw this tweet, I actually thought that he had been dropped because he said the bounce back is going to make everyone tight. But it seems like, no, he's not gone, at least not yet. And, well, he's effectively saying, look, I'm going to play better next stage and I'm going to prove why I deserve a spot in the league. And fair play, PaulX and the rest of those guys, gritty players as we know. Like, they are never down and out of a series by any means. But let's talk about the situation with OpTic. Of course, Drazah thought he was funny, you know, the CEO. He says, what have I done, right? Like, how have I, you know, as the CEO of OpTic, made it to this point? I do feel bad fundamentally for Huke, I think. It still worked out okay for Huke, but again, it's another just remarkable chapter in Huke's career, which is still an enigma in many ways, I would say, as an individual and as a career, enigmatic. But you know, Shotzzy has basically dropped him again. It's obviously tough. I'm sure Shotzzy finds it tough as well, because Huke was the one who got Shotzzy into the league on Dallas Empire. Huke took the pay cut so that you know, Dallas could pay for his buyout or whatever it was. I think because he was going to go to Toronto. and it was on Splice, right, and that became Toronto, and then Shotzzy was bought out because Huke took the pay cut, and now many a time Shotzzy, as the warlord or whatever, has told Huke, all right, you know, it's time to go, and we're going to bring somebody else in instead. And on this occasion, it is going to be none other than Pred for the second time in a row. The point that I was going to make earlier, I think, was around the structure of the team. As good as Huke has been, I think the team wasn't as good, notably, with Huke as they were with Pred, certainly last year. And even though Huke's ceiling on this game may not be that dissimilar to Pred's ceiling, I don't think the team is as best structured, and I wonder actually, as a result of this, whether Shotzzy and Huke will actually ever team again, whether it's necessary. And it's not that they were a bad duo, they were a good duo, but the issue is that while they are a good duo, I don't know how well it works for the rest of the team. I mean, there were multiple examples. I'm sure you guys probably remember a couple on Skyline where Huke will, you know, red dot chase and stuff like this. And it's been an issue for Huke for a long time in his career. And I feel like with the way that Kenny especially wants to play the game, I mean, Kenny's talked about it before. If he's not confident that he can trust what his teammates are doing on the map, he's not going to play his best card. And do we believe that Kenny would have been, you know, fully believing and trusting that Huke knows what he's doing on the map? Like, I'm not so convinced by that. So I think on some level, it was a choice between Huke and Kenny, really, I would say. Because Kenny has, you know, the structure that he wants to provide to a team that he believes is going to create a winning environment. Huke's team culture will not be like that, at least the way that Huke will potentially thrive in the game. So I think there was always going to be a distinction there between Kenny and Huke as players. And I can understand why they've gone for the approach, which, you know, has won them the World Championship last year. Given the fact that Pred was coming back as well, it kind of made sense, I think, to do this rather than, I don't know, put like Pred to a flex or something and drop Kenny. I don't think that was the right idea. So yeah, it's tough for Huke, but I think that's probably what's happened here to some extent. If they'd have won the major, I think it would have been a different story. I know many people are hoping that Huke had some idea this may have been coming. You know, he's not said anything about it, I don't believe, yet. I guess we can just have a look real quick, but I don't believe that he's tweeted about it yet. And yeah, still as it stands, it's all OpTic, Huke and his bio and his name and all this, but obviously he's no longer there anymore. And JP says, unfortunate situation, wish the best for Kyler. The major was on us as a team, not an individual player. He stepped up and he deserves a spot. So I know that people are hoping that he, you know, knew about this, or, I mean, he always probably knew that it was a possibility, but I guess some people are hoping that maybe he was aware that this was happening before just getting blindsided by it. Kenny probably needed a bit of a comma in here. Shout out, Kyler sucks. Oh, hang on. Shout out, Kyler. Sucks we didn't get the results we wanted with him on the team. So I thought that was a pretty interesting statement, actually, from Kenny. So, I don't know, things clearly weren't all perfect over there behind the scenes. I also think for Pred, you know, his time away has probably made him reflect quite a lot on how things went, and, you know, I think he'll be very motivated, whatever's been going on behind the scenes, to get back into the team and really kick on for the rest of the season. Dashy's actually not said anything yet. The only thing he was tweeted yesterday was about this, which I thought was pretty funny. So, yeah, no comment from Dashy on the Huke situation, comments from the rest of the team as it stands, and obviously comments from Pred as well, getting back into the league as well. But, yeah, so nothing from Dashy, nothing from Huke, obviously, as of yet. These were the numbers, though, over the entirety of Major 1. Good online stint. The Major wasn't so true at all. Huke's numbers, like, the eye test on Huke was better than the numbers show, but it is true that his first couple of series weren't very good, and in terms of kills per 10 and damage per 10 in the SMG category, that's the key thing to note here, because if you look at his numbers compared to Kenny's numbers, you'll say, well, hang on a second, you know, let's say kills per 10 in the control, his numbers aren't dissimilar to Kenny's, but yet Kenny has a high rating, he has a very low rating in that category. That's because Huke is compared to other SMGs, and so is Shotzzy. So, you know, believe the cards or don't believe the cards, whatever. They're here for entertainment at the end of the day, and I think that even Lineman said it, they're like, Huke seemed like he was much better than a 74, but his first couple of series online weren't that great, and then he did turn up for a while, certainly in hardpoint, but his impact in the other two modes wasn't great, and therefore, you know, there were some problems there that they had to deal with. Dashy, apart from the major, was stunningly good and consistent. So was Shotzzy, to be fair. And the fact that Kenny had a higher rated card than Huke feels kind of strange, but I think that's where we are right now. So yeah, I'm not saying they dropped him on the Lion Man cards because they weren't even made when they made the decision, but I think you can look at some of these numbers and you can say, okay, I understand why Pred back in makes a large degree of sense. Now, it's still a remarkable timeline, especially with what's happened in Dallas in other sports lately. Like, obviously this tweet did some numbers yesterday. People were saying it's like as if Luka was returning to the Mavs or something like that after what's happened recently. And even Ake says Dallas teams really love getting rid of their best player. Crazy. Now, look, fair play. Look, he was the best player at the major, but I think there's an argument that the way that the team was going was not necessarily conducive to Dashy, Shotzzy, Kenny playing in the way that they necessarily wanted to play. So maybe they felt like it was a necessity to bring Pred back, even if the problems that they have dealt with clearly, because back in December this seemed to be a situation which was not possible to continue. Maybe Hex said, look, Pred, things are getting out of hand at the moment. It's not great for the team environment. Go back, take some time for yourself or whatever, get things right, and we'll look to bring you back at some point soon. But of course, they did drop him, right? It's not like Pred was benched. If he was benched, he would have stayed in the States, you'd have imagined, and, would have still been part of the roster to some degree. But no, Pred was fully gone. And we assume that might have been from like a salary perspective, right? But there were probably other factors in play as well. Who really knows? Maybe we're never going to know. But they've got to talk something about it. I know that people are saying, oh, the process is going to be fire. I mean, it might not be. They might just say, well, Pred went and we can't really talk about why. Now Pred's back and we still can't talk about why he left in the first place. I don't know that many of you guys yesterday were saying, well, if you're going to drop Pred to bring you back, what the hell was the point, right? Like, why even bother, right? Like, and that's the confusing thing for many OpTic fans, is that they're looking at this and saying, well, why did we just waste a month if we're going to bring Pred back anyway with the team that won the World Championship? But, obviously there's been reasons, and we'll continue maybe to discuss them if we hear more information or rumors or leaks or whatever in the coming days and weeks. But I wanted to show a couple of clips I thought was kind of nice here from Pred, just looking back at obviously his own career, missing the team, missing the fans, excited to be back ready and playing again.
I'm excited, man. I can't wait, man. And the next tournament is in fucking Texas, bro. The same place that we won champs. Yo, Diego, the 5-bomb, appreciate it, man. The exact same place we won champs at. And we're getting our rings on that fucking event. Like, man, dude, it's special, man. There's a lot of buzz. There's gonna be a lot of energy around the team, and I'm just excited to get to work, man. I miss my team. I miss everything, man. So, yeah, man. Very, very, very blessed, man. Alhamdulillah, brother. I'm just happy, bro. I'm really happy, man. Have the opportunity to just win again, man. Win with the same people that I just did some crazy shit with, and there's no better fucking team to win with than for the Green Wall, man. There's no better team, so I'm just so glad that we're able to continue what we built from last year, man. That's something that I'm really, really glad about. And I miss the boys, I miss everyone over there. So I'm glad, I'm excited to get back and just get back to work, man.
I was told last night that it was a maybe happening. I didn't know that it was like 100% happening though. I ain't gonna lie. And I also didn't know that it was getting released today if it was happening. I mean, I was not expecting this at all. I was just chilling, playing some off the grid, and then boom. Yeah, but I do feel for Kyler though, man. Kyler came in, did his thing, had a great first major. Probably played the best on the team. But again, these guys won champs together. I mean, it's just, that's how it be, man. Kyler's gonna find a team though for sure. You guys want to go to Stork City? Kyler's gonna be on a team before matches start back up. Let's go. And if he's not, I'll cut off my balls.
Scump, of course, giving his perspective on the matter as well, saying that, yeah, it's obviously bad for Huke, but unfortunately it's 4v4 nowadays rather than 5v5 where they could have had him. And of course, putting the World Championship winning team back together is always going to make sense. But as I say, the question will be like, well, why? You had the World Championship winning team, you kept them together, then you broke them up and bring them back together a month later, right? Like, there's got to be some good reason for it, which we may never really find out. But I think Scump was aware that this was at least a possibility. Maybe that was the same story for Huke as well. And how are they going to get on, I think, is the question. Because Pred, okay, there was clearly problems in that team behind the scenes at the end of last year. But Pred still played pretty well. When he, obviously, the first couple of matches of the season, he had one of the top KDs. Maybe that will continue. We know how that team environment goes. Pred is potentially going to be more motivated than ever. Maybe there was a feeling that after winning the World Championship last year, OpTic kind of felt like, you know, we're going to always be at that level. There's going to be no issues in the team. That's, of course, not how it's worked out. So, you know, in terms of OpTic having success this season, this could actually be a very good thing to happen to them. The issue is that whenever in the past few years, as there has been, there's been some sort of internal drama at OpTic, it hasn't usually ended well in terms of the end of season result. Maybe this year is going to be something of an exception. But very much interested in your thoughts on all this stuff in the comments below. This is a critical thing to mention as well. FaZe OpTic is OpTic's first game back. And if FaZe win this series, they will break their own win streak record and potentially go on a considerable run after that. So this may be the series from OpTic to try and stop FaZe's run. And Pred will have the opportunity to do so. Although I think as of now, he's still back in Australia. And I'm not sure when his flight is going to be. I actually thought that he might have been still a bit in the States. But he's not. He's back in Oz. They're going to sort things out soon. And I guess they're going to get practiced as soon as they possibly can. So very much interested in your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.